go flag.
I'm happy, so I want to be gay.
I am a huge fan.
We set the agenda.
We set the agenda for the gay agenda. Thank you all for being here. We're very excited to be back. This is, of course, the occasional another occasional episode of the Gay Agenda. Now, after our first episode, I don't know about you all, but I think we've really become quite famous.
Well,
very famous. People know us. People seem to recognize us. Here's the thing that happened last. I was at the airport a couple weeks ago, going through security. And this is when I knew that really the show was caught on because they singled me out. They pulled me out of the line.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah. And I thought it was, I just thought, wow, really? I felt so special. And I didn't think it was that I was the only person of color in the line. I'm sure that had nothing to do with it. But it was one of those things where I just thought the show is really starting to take off.
Amazing.
We've arrived.
I'm just surprised you were in line.
Every now and then I try to, travel with the other people.
It helps them fit in.
But it's been one of those things where people have just started to really follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And have you all noticed this too?
I can tell people are so obviously not looking at me that I'm making them nervous. And
Right.
That's what happens is with a lot of stars.
Exactly.
They're just trying to act like, oh, I'm not by the celebrity. And so I just go up and just tell them it's fine.
Exactly. Now, you said you were doing something a little different as a result of the last show.
No one pays attention to me.
That's not true.
It's the
That's not
But
true.
if you saw the last show, we were talking a little bit about Grindr. I decided to join Grindr, and I've been busier than ever.
Wait, this is the first time you've been on Grindr?
Well, yes. Jim gave me the advice.
Okay.
I'm a hit on Grindr with the Bears. I'm very excited. I get dropped off places. I get picked up places. It's amazing.
It's a wonderful thing.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, one of the things, getting back to how famous we are, because we are really famous now. We've heard from thousands of people, and one of the things that people keep asking is sort of, what did you look like before, you made it big, right? That's essentially what people ask. And so we're going to show you some pictures of the host as younger children.
Oh.
And you have to guess which one is
It's going to be difficult.
So we're going to start with Shannon.
You just gave it away, Mary. Yeah, how about that? Adorable.
Now, Shannon, tell us what was happening here.
Well, I was a little obsessed with solid gold, and I wanted to be a solid gold dancer. So any opportunity to wear my mom's boots and my Smurfette bra and underwear was but I guess for this photo, I was going with the cowgirl theme. So I hope you can see it. My mom's in the background, reading the newspaper, looking over.
Totally not interested.
She has
There
seen
she
this
goes
1,000
again.
times.
Yeah, for real.
Yay! That is
could've
me. That is a little baby Latoni. What I love about this picture is you can see on top of the TV, there's, we were very bourgeois. And we had these dolls, what did you call them? Toilet?
A cozy.
A cozy for the toilet paper, but not in the bathroom. We were too fancy for that. So we put it on top of the living room TV table so that people knew they were coming into a affluent household.
Well, I wonder who that is.
God.
I was 8, and already at 8, I did in fact have a hairpiece on. That's a hairpiece. That's a little bun that I'm wearing there that my brother, who was a hairstylist.
Today. It's beautiful.
This is on my hair. Okay? This is on my hair. Okay. So we have one more. We have one more we're going to show. Well.
We were decorating cookies that day.
Were you bullied as a child?
I don't think my sister bullied me. She would mar me because I got better tans than her, and so she would scratch me and ruin them. But we're very close now. We're very close.
So one of the questions that we were talking about when we were starting to prepare was, are people born, this way? Nature versus nurture?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think when I work with young folks. So when I'm talking to young folks, or really just when I'm in, the mainstream culture, right? I have to use I choose to use the language of, yes, people are born that way, right? Because it then allows us to have a different conversation, right? But but personally, when I'm out, number one, I choose to be queer. I choose to be very queer, gender nonconforming. I choose the family that I have. I choose the friends. I choose the community that I engage with. So I think if I were that, baby gay, I would, and I knew what my life would be like, I would be like, yes, I would choose that life.
So I can remember getting in trouble. I played with this little girl named Katie Bacorny, and I remember getting in trouble because I would act too much like her when I would come home, and they kept saying, "Stop acting like Katie," and I'm just like, I'm just being very theatrical and dramatic like Katie was. I loved it, and I remember having my room look too nice and having to make up who decorated my childhood room or. I was always I always was different.
You were always different. And Shannon, what about you? Is this your story as well?
I don't necessarily think that everybody's born this way. I definitely would choose it. But there was certainly a moment, get ready, where I knew. And this is it. Oh, you know it. You saw it. Vanity Fair, 1993.
Yes.
I was at my cousin's house. She was older. She was so cool. I was 15. She had all the best magazines. And then this was sitting out. And I thought, I don't know what the hell this is, but yes. And that was the moment where I was like, I don't know, but yes. And I wanted to take it with me. And then I thought, I think I would get in trouble. And I didn't know why. I just knew that it was wrong or that I felt like I would get in trouble for having it. So I left it there. But I never forgot it, and now I own it off of eBay for $8.
Yeah.
It was very empowering to buy it back and be like, no, I have that now, and I will show it off.
For guys, it was the International Male Catalog. Like, they just knew when we
That's
hit
a thing?
puberty, it just showed up at our house. Anywhere you moved, the International Male Catalog would be close behind.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I always feel it doesn't really matter whether you were born this way or not. I think that we're all born in many ways more or less bisexual, and I think we're socialized one way or the other. That's really what I've always thought. And
You were giving me a little wink.
No.
There was a little wink, and I was like, wait a minute.
I mean, we're not born knowing the difference between black and white, gay and straight, right? We're taught that, right? We're taught how to discriminate against people and how to treat people differently. So I've really always felt that way, but I didn't come out per se, I would say, to a family member until I was in my 20s, and I said to my sister-in-law, I actually told my sister-in-law that
You're hot.
That just got so weird.
Oh my God. Anyway, I told my sister-in-law that I thought I was a lesbian, and she said, "Oh, okay." No major reaction except we think it's fine that you're lesbian. We don't like the woman you're dating now, however.
But you're happily married.
Happily married, yes,
Right.
13 years. So that was so your story was?
My coming out story?
Yes.
I mean, as you can imagine, I'm constantly coming out. But I remember when I first had
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I understand. So you're saying you're meeting people now that don't know that you
Yes.
might be
Clearly, that's what is the trick, is the weird part, right? But, I remember when I came out in high school, I told my friend Thelma Uranga, I just told her, oh, I have some, I was very, I have something to tell you.
Were you playing the Cranberries?
That's when I came out to my parents.
Okay, sorry. There was like this whole ritual, and the Cranberries were playing, and there was a whole thing. I'm just curious if this would happened a lot.
But yes. So I played the Cranberries, and I told her, and I was like, I just want you to know that at that time, I was like, oh, that I'm gay, and then she was like, oh, Tony, we know that. And I was like, well, there goes that moment. So I was like, there goes that. And now that's a story that I have to tell. So that's the last time I'm telling that story. I'd rather be more dramatic.
So one of the organizations that's been sort of monitoring how we've been represented in the community, not even just in the community, but in all these various images, is GLAAD, right? The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. Do we need an organization like GLAAD now? And I see some folks in the audience already shaking their heads saying no. So what do you all think?
Any representative, anybody looking out for our best interests is good for all of us, right?
Right.
Yeah, I just don't know if we need a whole group now that does that. I mean, there may be other organizations that can take it on. When something bad happens, it's good that they get called out. But I also think there's a lot of gay stuff on TV now, and like the new Jack show, the Will and Grace guy.
Sean Hayes.
Yeah, like Jack Saves the World or
Sean saves the world.
Sean Saves the World.
Yes.
He's so far from that character. But like that show to me, I feel like gay is the punchline as opposed to the premise. And I'd rather have a show like Modern Family that just has gays as part of the show and they're funny and it's got sort of a gay sensibility about it, but it doesn't have to be slamming you over the head every single time they make a joke.
Well, one of the things that's really wonderful, of course, is that now we can create our own media, right? Which is what we're doing here.
Yes.
And I think that's really important that we have an opportunity to put out our own images and talk about the stories that we think are important. And we have a very special guest joining us today who's doing that very thing. She's a writer, a comedian, and a former litigator. Can't wait to talk to her about that. She's been seen in feature films like Silhouettes and Jamie and Jesse Are Not Together. She has been seen around town in productions at Lifeline Theater and at the Goodman Theater. And if that was not enough, last year she started her own web series with Ryan Logan titled Cam Kardashian, where she plays the long-lost fictional Kardashian sister. Let's take a look.
We'd like to give you the image of someone as exciting and marketable as Ann Coulter.
She's not a lesbian.
After a bottle of SoCo and some hate speech, she is. We're offering a chance to wipe the slate clean, to get a publicly acceptable image.
What about my sex tape?
The 5 people who have seen it have been detained.
Oh, could I meet them?
They're very ill. Trust us. We can give you the notoriety, the success, and the attention you've been craving.
How can you be so sure?
We've been responsible for every successful lesbian coming out story since Melissa Etheridge.
Really?
You know the song, Come, Come to my window?
Yeah.
I wrote that. And Ellen DeGeneres, she got tied up in some Taliban stuff.
You mean she's...
Let's just say JCPenney was not interested. Are you familiar with country singing sensation Shelley Wright? Made by the late Jim Henson. We spoon-feed the media stories about queer celebrities that we handcraft. The gay agenda is real, ladies.
And so we're really excited to welcome our very first guest to the Gay Agenda. Please welcome Fawzia Mirza! Okay, lovely. Okay.
All right.
Oh, that's very cute. That's very cute. Everybody's got to get on that finger thing. Okay.
I poured you a
All
drink.
right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's in this.
You will.
So, let's start by trying to figure, how did you get from litigator to actor to comedian? How did that happen?
Well, it all started in Brussels. No, it didn't. I grew up in a very conservative household where being a performer wasn't necessarily the, yay, we're so proud of our daughter. So I followed a more traditional path. I was a liberal arts major, poli-sci and English.
Okay.
You're welcome. And then I went to law school because that's the right thing you're supposed to do as the child of an immigrant family, and then you're gonna have a good living and be able to be somebody. And so I went to law school and did that for a few years, but really the thing I liked most about being in law school was acting like a lawyer. And so I started taking some acting classes and then was a litigator for 3 years, took acting classes and started doing some theater at night. And then I left the law after about 3 years. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
I do think, you guys were talking about coming out and the like earlier. I don't think coming out is the same for everybody. And I think that the concept of coming out is not necessarily a construct that exists in all cultures or in all languages or in all religions and all communities. And so that's something that I've definitely struggled with as a person who is very out there as a performer.
So where do you get the idea for the web series?
Well, I actually had an audition for a show, and we had to do a couple characters, and so I definitely wanted to do a queer character because look at my haircut, let's face it. Yeah. And right, and so I wanted to do something queer, and my girlfriend now, we were hanging out, and she said you should do a queer Kardashian, a gay Kardashian.
Awesome.
And then we just started riffing off of that, and it's just been so much fun. Because, like them or hate them, they're this family that people love to hate to watch or love to hate to know about. And how fantastic that one of the most famous families on the planet might have a quirky gay sister. Of course they would, because who doesn't have a family member that kind of is out of the quote unquote ordinary? And that's really what.
Yeah.
I mean, right here, we're all Kardashian sisters, am I right? Too soon. So, but I think that's what it is. It's really about this person who's a woman, and she's not the model minority. She's flawed, but she comes from a family where they're very famous, and she's trying to live up to them sometimes, and doesn't always succeed at living up to what their standard is. And I think that's really relatable.
Well, we are thrilled at your success, and thank you for putting the stories out there. You are part of the gay agenda.
Hey.